Good morning, penny stalkers. Shoppers. E here. E steals and steals. And this shall be a re-intro if you didn't catch really who I am. Also a review. Some basics, maybe a little something you didn't know. And then also, I think I finally figured out the membership idea. Um, Again, with memberships, I understand not everybody wants to join a membership, and that's a-okay. You're still going to have access to basically the same info. It'll just be at a different time, but it won't be any different than what you're getting now. Okay. Um, Here's the deal. Uh, Penny shopping is great. This YouTube channel is great. But penny shopping does take time. It does take time and it does take money. Not actually buying the pennies, but obviously the miles, oil changes on the car, which I'm way overdue, and gas, of course. So, the channel's going great, but I do feel like I have some extra stuff to provide. And I think it's very, very beneficial. I also think that you clearly would pay for this, or you would pay for this, but you would make that money back no time, right? Because like the basic membership, I'll say it's $3.99 a month. How many of you guys have found something in store for a penny that was $5? Right? One item, $5, $4, you already paid for it. Okay. So, and then moving up to the high end, I am going to do 3 levels, but moving up to the high end, which is going to focus more on the actual sales aspect. It's going to be $13.99. But again, one sale, you can make that $13.99 back very quickly. I actually just did open shopping yesterday. I just let, was it 3 people? 3 people, but then 1 returned, so technically 4. And what did I make yesterday? $147 yesterday. Okay. It's not a huge amount, but it definitely helps. And it's better than just sitting here. And they got Christmas. All right. And they got items for Christmas that literally, if they walked in the store right now, it would be $12. And I sell it for $1. I do sell low, because my end game in all of this isn't necessarily to become rich, but it is to help, but to also have a balance. Obviously, I've got to be careful. We don't make a ton of money. We are self-employed. COVID has affected that. Clearly, cleaning houses, anytime anybody is quarantined, then that customer's out. Sean was working in a house, almost finished on this job that is just taking forever. It's just one of those jobs that things come up, and so unfortunately the lady just tested positive for COVID, so now he can't go back into that house until she's out of quarantine, and now we have to wait a few days to make sure that he doesn't get any symptoms before we send him into somebody else's house. It makes self-employment very difficult, but we're still fine. But it's just, self-employment is up and down depending. Not usually for us, but COVID clearly puts a big kink in that, considering we are in people's houses. So the last couple years have been, up and down, up and down. So the whole YouTube thing, yeah, I'm making a little bit off of views and stuff like that. But again, I feel like I have more to offer and I feel like it's worth it. And anybody that's watched me for very long, I think that you all know um, that I do take a different approach to things. I feel like I am more of a teacher, and I think that's the main thing of being a successful penny shopper. Anybody can find pennies, but to actually be a professional where you can find a lot of pennies or you can find pennies no matter where you go, then the key is understanding DG's process. And I think I have a better understanding of the process because I worked there. And clearly, I studied and studied and studied and studied when I was down after my thumb reconstruction. And that's basically why I dove into it. And then after losing dad, well, then I just went on the road and really, dove into it. And that's also basically when I really started doing remodels heavily. So I think I've got some knowledge to share, some extra knowledge that I would like to help people in different ways. All right. So basically, I guess, intro wise, I've had a few different comments about the way I talk, as my voice is cracking. I am still sick, but not really. Well, kind of, but oh my gosh, I'm so much better. I haven't taken cold medicine in 2 days or 3 days. Thank God. That stuff does. It makes me crazy. I hate it. But anyway, so my voice is cracking. But um, I guess let me give you my background and then probably this stuff will make sense, right? So, obviously, I graduated high school. Um, Anybody that's in high school that watches this, make sure you graduate high school. Okay, that's number one for penny shopping, is to graduate high school. Okay, went on to college, studied business law and business management. Unfortunately, I did not finish because, well, my I went to a private college, and my professor of my last three law classes, um, well, I guess he was studying a little bit more, than necessary with some students. And so he lost his job. So then the three law classes weren't being offered. And so then they basically said, you can do an internship to replace these three classes. Great. Oh, wait, internship, 40 hours a week, unpaid at a law firm. In addition to the 40 hours a week I already worked, because I lived on my own. In addition to, I had 3 additional classes that I still had to take and go to class. It was not possible. So, unfortunately, I did not complete, but I gained a wealth of knowledge. Okay. Um, so, from there, basically, I went into telemarketing. That's right. No, I did not call you at home. I promise. Um, but I'll show my age, but some of you guys will laugh. Anybody that used to call AOL, you called AOL because you had problems, right? Didn't you love calling AOL? Because half the time those people would just kick you to the telemarketers trying to sell you something. That was me. So I wasn't even 20. I was on the phones and I was loving it because I was talking, and I did really well. And well, I guess so well that my trainer approached me one day, whom I love and am still friends with to this day. Shout out to Miss M. Um, and she offered me an on the job trainer position. For me, at the age of 19, that was a huge deal, right? I was all about it. So she basically trained the incoming classes every week in the classroom. And then I had them the following week on the phones before we actually put them out onto teams, with supervisors. So I was teaching or training people at 19. And I learned quickly that everybody is different. And you have to, I don't know, there's a way you have to go about it to make sure that everybody understands, or so that the majority understands, right? But with that said, there's still going to be people that need more help. And that's where memberships come into play, because the memberships, I want to bring in more one-on-one help with moi, you know. So, it is what it is. Sometimes things just don't make sense, and we're not great at everything, Sean in geometry is like, well, obviously he's a carpenter. Um, I did very well in school. Me, geometry, mm-mm. It's the only class I couldn't get an A in. It's the only class. Ridiculous. And to this day, I don't know. Don't even start coming out with any radiuses, or I don't even know what all, but it's just not my thing. Okay? So everybody's different, and I understand that. So I want to offer more one-on-one help if you need it. Okay. So basically became a supervisor. I went on to, I don't know, I got offered a production supervisor job, but I didn't want to do that. And then I got offered I ended up being a quality supervisor, where I was listening to people's phone calls and then coaching them on how to do them, the proper way. So that's where it all began, the whole teaching thing. A lot of people have said, you explain things so well. Well, I've explained a lot of things. From there, I just went up. I left that company, though. I moved to Indianapolis, and I worked, at a sign company. So I learned about advertising and marketing, and literally, making signs and making banners, and that side of the business. From there, I was actually in the mortgage area for a bit as a loan processor. So I dealt with a lot of paperwork and a lot of numbers, and that was a good job, but they didn't want to pay me enough. So I went on over to corporate management. And again, whether it was customer service, whether it was phone calls, emails, coaching new employees, interviewing. I was a recruiter, so I dealt with a lot of HR. I've kind of just the gamut of business. And that's why I felt confident in starting our own business. And that's where we are now. And for the most part, I basically started the business about 8 years ago. And it's done really well. I started the cleaning business, cleaning and organizing. And then Sean was already doing construction, kind of brought him in and added the construction piece and made it our business. And yeah, then I decided, after learning how to penny shop and doing pretty good at it, I just saw how people were treated on the different pages if they asked questions. And I know that veterans see it as dumb questions, but everybody has to ask those questions in the beginning because it has to make sense. So I wanted to help where you didn't get yelled at. I felt like there were a lot of penny videos out there showing you pennies, but I didn't feel like there was enough explanation, and especially with remodels. I felt there were people, doing remodels or talking about remodels, but not really explaining the process. And I'm all about the explanation. I have to understand it. If I understand it, then I'm going to be better at it because it makes sense. So that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to show you a penny list. I'm not here to, I'll show you coupon glitches. I'll be honest, lately I just haven't been, well, I haven't had time. But as I find them, as I'm doing my own, shopping, stuff like that. But I really want to focus on helping and, showing you in store where to look, um, you know, basically the different, not just looking for these items, but make sure you're looking at these as well. Make sure you're looking for stashes. Why are you looking for these items and not these items? Why do these two items look the same, but one's a penny and one's full price? I really want to get into more detail with you about all of that so that it makes more sense. The more you understand it, the better you will be. Okay? So, um, I hear a lot, and I feel like these are myths. These are myths of penny shopping. My store doesn't do that. My store doesn't have these sales. Yes, they do. These are not sales. These are not advertised. This is not supposed to be happening. Okay? These items are supposed to be removed from the sales floor so that you cannot buy them. It's not a sale. You don't know about it. Sometimes they don't even know about it. You learn from me or from other YouTubers or Facebook. But every Dollar General has merchandise that pennies out. Every single one. Now, what happens when it pennies out? I don't know. It depends on the store, and that's part of R&D, research and development. You have to study your stores. You have to learn what stores pull, what stores have too many penny shoppers that are getting there before you, what stores are pulling before even 90%. A lot of them do it. And then what stores are good stores. A lot of people comment, oh my gosh, you have such good stores. Oh my gosh, I wish our stores were like that. Keep in mind, 99% of the time, the stores you see, they're not my local stores. Okay, I live in a very small town. I'm surrounded by small towns. All of those small town ones, for the most part, no, the stuff goes quickly before it's even a sale item. It's never marked down. It makes it out the door before it's ever 50% off. So this is me learning my stores over the last 2 to 3 years. Okay. It's not a quick, I have traveled to so many cities around me to figure out, you know, what stores, what areas do I find the most items in. Obviously, the app is how you start. You have the DG app. You have different barcodes that I'll give you or UPCs to enter in so that you can see if different products are at stores. That's how I kind of start. But then I just traveled and I figured out, what cities were flooded or what stores were flooded with penny shoppers or managers that are pulling, and you just learn along the way. But I'm here to help you know where to start. Had somebody even message the other day, hey, I'm going to go to a new city. How do you pick what stores to go to? And, that's a good question. And I think I'm going to head out today and hit a city. And basically, when I do that, I try to hit the small towns on the way, you know, just run in. You can usually tell once you have a good idea. But I will try to hit, at least a couple small town ones. And then I basically hit as many as I can in an area in a city at once, right? Um, Small town versus city, that's another question. Where do you find more pennies? It's 50-50. It just depends on the store. Some city stores, there's a lot because there's other stores to shop. Small town, sometimes there's a lot because there's not, or I'm sorry, there's not as much because they don't have a Walmart down the road. They don't have a Dollar Tree. They don't have so everybody goes to the Dollar General. but then other rural stores are filled. But there's also three more within 45 minutes. So, it really is. It depends on your area. And that's where you have to learn your stores. Learn your stores, learn your symbols, your seasons. That's what I'm going to teach you. I'm even going to I'm going to provide PDFs. Um, I'm actually going to email, the different symbols. I'm going to make some stuff up for you, like actual papers, so that you would have it, um, just to help you. And that'll be, part of memberships, providing that type of information and even actually putting it on paper for you. And sometimes, again, some people can hear things and it makes sense, see things, it makes sense. Others that, you really need it on a piece of paper in front of you to be able to read it and for it to make sense. So I want to try to make this make sense for everybody. Okay. So we talked about the basics, basically proactive versus reactive. That's figuring out, where to go and going to different stores. Okay. I think that's basically it, just to give you a review. So, here's what we're going to do. And right now I still don't have any internet. I'm still driving up the road. So we're over 24 hours, no internet. We're barely surviving. And I'm going to do the 3 levels. First membership will be the $3.99. That's going to we will do a private live chat one time a week. And that'll be a time for any open Q&A and also any updates. We'll just talk about what's going on at DG, whether it's a clearance sale that's coming up, or it's pennies that are coming up, or it's a surprise, whatever it may be. And then I'll do the mid one, which will be $6.99. Obviously, that's still going to be the private conversation once a week. And that's a group conversation with me. And then you'll also receive text alerts. Basically, if we find any surprise pennies, if we find any glitches, things like that. But then you will also get a one-on-one conversation with me once a month. So whatever it may be, we'll get on the phone and you can ask me as many questions as you want to ask me. All right. And the last one would be the $13.99 one. And again, that one's going to be focused on sales, reselling, whether it's setting up yard sales, setting up an online page to sell, whether it's a website, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, I want to help you make use of these pennies. Also, donations, which I'll talk about donations regardless. Right now, most of your DGs should have a Toys for Tots box in it. So you can definitely be donating any books, any toys, anything like that if you find. But also, most areas will have like an angel tree right now. Whether it's radio stations or community actions, where you can basically sponsor a family. I did that a number of years when I lived in Terre Haute, and that was I absolutely loved it. So anyways, you can even reach out to your schools. A lot of times schools will have a list of families in need that you can do. But really, Christmas time is a huge time that you can help others. You can make a child's Christmas. It's not about the presents, okay? But we all know if a child wakes up on Christmas and they don't have gifts, well, I don't know. I don't know what that's like, and I'm glad I don't know what that's like, and I don't want anybody else to know what that's like. So, just like my sales right now, I sell pretty much everything behind me LOL games, the floor puzzles, the art sets. I mean, I sell them for $1, just $1. Books are four for $1. Coloring books, four for $1. Um, I want people that normally could not get these items or normally could only get one of these items can get 5 of these items and they can take them home to their children. And that's just me. And even some of my family. Oh my gosh, you sell your stuff too cheap. Our family, we've always been a yard sale family since I was young. We never had a lot of money, so yard sales, yeah, we sold what we didn't use and we used that money to buy new. So I've always been a yard sailor, thrift shopper, but this is different. If I'm literally paying a penny for something, I don't care if it's $12 in the store. If I can help a child get 5 art sets or, an art set and books and a game and this and that for $10 versus one thing for $10, then that's how I help. That's how I help. So, okay. I hope that gives you guys an idea. I want some feedback. Anybody that, is interested in any of those memberships, do those sound right to you? Is there anything you think that I should add? Obviously I'm still new at this and I don't know, YouTube offered memberships for me to do memberships like, I don't know, 4 months ago, but I haven't done it because right? But I feel like I think this is good. I think this is good. So, yeah, feedback, let me know. Trying to think. We already talked about Harvest going 90. We have okay. So I showed you the window panes. Okay, that was one of my faves. There's one other one, and I know I've got like 15 messages, and I'm sorry, my internet does not work. I cannot get any of it until I go up to Ashley's. So I will try to answer back today, and yeah, all right. Thanks so much, guys, and I will talk to you soon. All right, much love.